And the results are in. The Fox Business Network has unveiled the GOP candidate lineup for the next debate, and Governor Chris Christie did not make the cut. Florida Senator Marco Rubio joins us now with reaction. Good morning to you,
Good
Senator.
morning.
Great to have you here on the couch.
Good to have you.
So, obviously, Governor Mike Huckabee, Governor Chris Christie now in that undercard debate. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I feel bad for them. I mean, none of them are working hard, and they're good people, and I thought they both performed well in the last debate, so it's unfortunate. And anytime you set up a criteria, someone might fall out of it. I feel even worse for the people that didn't even make the second debate, you know, Lindsey Graham and others who are also working hard. I mean, these guys are out there, they're flying around the country, they're working as hard as anybody else is, and it's unfortunate, you know, but, you know, it'll all work out, I imagine.
Sure, there's got to be a threshold for something. I think Chris Christie actually could be good for him. On the undercard, remember how Carly Fiorina, when she was on the earlier debate, she actually excelled, wound up leapfrogging into the main event and has done very well.
I saw you looking left and right for Brian Kilmeade, by the way. He's actually joining us from Washington, D.C. He was there for his book signing last night, and he's here now, wants to say hello.
Hey, Senator, congratulations on the surge out in the polls. Because you surged, as we look at the map, the floor plan, you're going to be right next to Donald Trump. Now, we know he high-fived awkwardly with Jeb Bush. We know he's winked and touched the shoulder of people next to him. How is that going to affect your approach, being that you're next to a guy who you were sparring with for the last 24 hours and probably right up to the debate?
Well,
physically.
I mean, I was last time, too, so that's not going to be a big deal one way or the other. I'm there to talk about the future of America and the issues that voters care about. It's not a personality conflict with anybody else, so it ain't going to bother me.
But it has been for the last few days, Senator, because he has taken you on about credit card issues, which you're discussing today, and you have taken him on about his multiple bankruptcies. So that's personal.
Yeah, I just find it ironic that Donald Trump has had 4 bankruptcies and in his businesses, and who is he to attack anybody on finances? I mean, I just find that ironic, but, you know, we'll move on. I'm proud of my background. I'm proud of where I come from. I'm proud of what we've been able to achieve. Today, my family and I are in, you know, we have one debt in the world, which is the mortgage on our home. But I didn't, you know, I grew up having to earn everything. I had the student loans, for example, because my parents couldn't pay for my school. Yeah, and you know, let me tell you, that's why I'm so passionate about these issues. A lot of what Americans are facing on a daily basis, I faced 10 or 15 years ago, in some cases 5 or 8 years ago, and that's why I'm so passionate to fight on behalf of the people in this country that are struggling, because I know what it feels like. I grew up paycheck to paycheck.
Do you believe when Donald Trump criticizes your handling of your finances, your debt, that he actually in turn is criticizing most Americans?
It's an interesting point. I mean, if you look across the country, for example, when I bought a house in 2005, like anybody who bought a house in 2005 in Miami, a year and a half later, it lost a lot of value. I didn't do anything wrong. The Federal Reserve did, Fannie and Freddie did. I know what it feels like for millions of Americans whose house lost their value because of reckless behavior by someone else in Wall Street and other places. So it makes me passionate to fight on behalf of people that are facing that, because I did, because my neighbors did and still are. And you're right. When you criticize someone for that, you're criticizing millions of Americans who did nothing wrong but lost the value of their home.
And I know you had trouble with that particular mortgage. You came close to declaring bankruptcy, but I think Donald Trump...
No, I did not. That's
you did not? I read that in the New York Times.
No,
that's the problem with reading the New York Times.
No, I've never come anywhere close to being bankrupt.
I think what he's talking about, though, is and this is something that you have had to address in the past, is the use of the Republican Party credit card when you were down in Florida for personal
well,
things.
and what happens, like anybody else that has a card like that's allowed to use it for those purposes, if there's a personal expense, I paid for it directly to American Express. You know, this issue was looked at by an audit by the Republican Party and cleared by the Florida Ethics Commission because some Democratic activists filed a complaint and cleared. This is an old attack. More than happy to address it again. But I'm going to focus on the future of America, because the debt I'm worried about is the $19 trillion debt that our country has on its shoulders that we're going to leave to our children and grandchildren. Actually, a lot more than that when it adds up over the years.
You know, Senator, just one thing, if I could just disrupt you and throw you off just a little bit by being at another location. But, Senator, I know Ben Carson said, when asked about Donald Trump hosting SNL, he said, I would never do it. Running for the presidency is a serious thing. How would Marco Rubio ever do a Hillary Clinton walk-on or a Donald Trump hosting? Because that's what's going to be happening just across the street from us tomorrow.
Maybe. I don't know. They haven't offered, so we'll see if it fits in our schedule. I doubt I would be able to host, primarily because, you know, we have a lot of other things to do and you know, around the country. But maybe. I don't know. They've never asked. We'll see. But running for president is a serious issue. And obviously, if you have a chance to, in the process, do something that's fun, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
What do you think about the groups of protesters that are going to be there from the Hispanic and Latino community? Any word on that?
Well, people have a right to protest. I don't understand what they're protesting. I mean, if they don't like what he stands for, vote against him. Don't watch the show.
Did you see that video out there with, I think it was Deport Racism 2016?
Outrageous. It's grotesque.
Where they've got the little kid
That's
cussing them out.
It's
unfair to the children.
Well, first of all, it's counterproductive. I mean, who do these groups think they're impressing by doing this? They're not bringing anybody to their side. They're turning people off. People look at that and say, these people are grotesque. I mean, these are little children. What kind of parent allows their children to go on a video like that and use that kind of profanity? I mean, what kind of parents allow a kid to do that?
Well, what about this? I mean, as a Latino man, when you see children really being now, I mean, they're characterized, they're mischaracterized. These are good kids. How do you feel
it's a disgusting
as a Latino
video.
Man seeing these kids being used for this propaganda?
Well, as a father, it's a disgusting video. What kind of parent allows their children to participate in something like that? And by the way, they're creating this image that somehow, unless you're in favor of illegal immigration, you are anti-Hispanic. That's absurd. There are millions of Hispanics that are waiting to come to this country legally, whose family members have been waiting for 10 years and have done it the right way. They are upset that someone who came here illegally is going to be able to come faster and cheaper.
So your message to the filmmakers who put together that video is?
You're disgusting. I mean, this is a disgusting video, what you did with children, and to the parents of those children, you know, shame on them. I mean, what kind of parent allows their kids to go be exposed to the world in a YouTube video using those words?
I kept saying as a mom, why wouldn't they want to show their kids at their best? These are good kids. They could have shown them
one of the most
doing
disgusting things I've seen in a long time.
Senator, thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much. If Brian was here, he would shake your hand, but he's down there.